Welcome to the Backlash at backlash.com. My name is Rod Van Mecklin, and in this video I'm going to read from my 1992 article, Discrimination, Socialization, and Socialism. The fully footnoted article is linked below. 1992, Bellevue, Washington. Feminists believe female socialization discriminates against women. Wines University of Michigan law professor Catherine McKinnon, quote, "Why should women have to be the same as a man to get what a man gets simply because he is one?" Close quote. Well, what she's really complaining about is that women don't get for free what men must earn. Under all their pseudo-intellectual blather, feminists are really saying that women suffer discrimination because their work ethic is different from men's. It's less production-oriented and more relationship-oriented, and this is a product of their socialization because gender, in the feminist paradigm, is the result of socialization. Employers who select employees on the basis of abilities, therefore, are making selections on the basis of socialization, which amounts to discrimination. Hence, they want the government to protect women against discrimination on the basis of work ethic by applying different standards to women. Can you hear the screams of agony from their tortured logic? They want to subvert the dynamics of the free market system. This should make it obvious that their foundation is Marxist. The free market produces institutions that buffer us from the scorching heat and killing cold of life without civilization. These institutions require certain abilities, the ability to cooperate in team efforts and to make a lifetime commitment to a particular work ethic among them. If people can't do that, the institutions fail, and with them, civilization. Hence, businesses must discriminate on the basis of ability and work ethic to survive. These institutions work because what feminists call the male socialization and the male work ethic make them work. It's a measure of their success and the survival utility of genuine masculinity and male socialization that feminists can even afford the luxury of criticizing them. Their criticism links sex discrimination to socialization because our social institutions, mother, feminized school system, mostly female teachers and peer groups, still raise men to successfully support these institutions while socializing women to the essential tenets of the feminine mystique. Central to that mystique are dependent behaviors, passivity, and focus on competition within the context of relationship goals and processes rather than production goals and processes. Is money for nothing what they want? Since this ideology is often less functional in the production and manufacturing institutions, feminists could support the evolution of both male and female roles. Instead, they're trying to get for free what men must earn, writes George Gilder in Men and Marriage. Quote, "The men's role that feminists seek is not the real role of men, but the male role of the Marxist dream, in which society does the work." Close quote. The only way to make their pipe dreams a reality is to force men to make them come true. That requires discriminating against men and the male work ethic. Hence, feminism is not about liberation, but the oppression and domination of men. When confronted with this charge, however, feminists scoff. It's taken almost as gospel truth that men discriminate against women. At work, men prevent women from making an equal wage by building up more seniority and by working more overtime, among other things. Socially, men create a hostile environment by violating women's right to be wooed, by dating women with thin thighs, or by pestering them with unwanted sexual advances, by asking them out on dates. In the homes, men discriminate by refusing to do half the housework, by wasting their time on trivial things like repairing the house, maintaining the yard, working on cars, and, horrors, sometimes even relaxing and having fun with their buddies. Oh no! Even when they're not around, men discriminate against women by buying magazines that portray women as sex objects. Or, of course, that was in 1992. These days, you can just go online and use Google. Every day in every way, everybody knows men discriminate against women. But it was not always this way, was it? Before and after World War II, a woman's place was in the home and a man worked. That was a social arrangement to which women and men generally agreed and aspired. But then in the 1970s, women demanded equality in the workplace, led by the second wave feminists. And before that, I'll digress here for a moment. Before that, first wave feminists, of course, they demanded the right to vote, which, by the way, that right, there were a lot of men who were trying to give that right to women, and there were women who opposed that. Utah, Mormon State, Utah, was the first state in the Union to give women the right to vote in state elections. Feminists don't want to talk about things like that. Anyway, enough digression. Feminism today is not revolutionary, but reactionary, almost a state religion. It's all but accepted as mainstream political common sense. The priests and priestesses of feminism are the up-and-comers of tomorrow's power elite. Remember, I wrote this in 1992. By now, by 2015, that's come true. They're martyrs, the women who stand before the scorching glare of television spotlights, immolating themselves with public confessions of victimization. And oh God, doesn't that still happen today? But for all feminists complain about the social stigma such women suffer, the fact is that being a martyr to their cause assures success on the lecture circuit and buys an acceptance within the holy order of their pundits, anointing them as saints who may then sell books, make speeches, and reap honors commensurate with the extent to which they promote a cause that has become the orthodox conservatism in 2015. Anything threatening that power, anything that does not conform to its central tenets, they condemn as blasphemy. Consequently, the revolutionaries of 1992 were the anti-feminists, who were pilloried more than any feminist, as many of them rotted in prison or languished homeless on the streets. Today's equivalents, I was writing this in 1992, but you know it applies every bit as much to 2015. Today's equivalents of the first wave feminists are men. As men, they make revolutionary observations that make little sense within the context of feminist orthodoxy. They point to bias and discrimination against men and are met with the jeers of the feminists who scoff. Men, they complain, have fewer career and sexual options than women. For women, career is an option, whereas for men, few men may hope to marry without a steady job and decent income. Quote, but the entire society supports men, close quote, say the feminists. Women sexually discriminate against men, and most men are sexually invisible, men complain. But all men are potential rapists, the feminists scoff. Men die at twice the rate of women, many men point out. But men kill one another, feminists callously scoff. Men have fewer career choices, fewer sexual opportunities, they die, and feminists scoff. At first wave feminists, the sexist pigs scoffed. If a male chauvinist was a sexist pig, then what is a female chauvinist? I call them Sexist Sows. That's all for now. Check out the other videos, subscribe to the channel. For the Backlash at backlash.com, my name is Rod Van Mechelen.